Hey there, welcome to the Become a Guitarist Today podcast with myself, and I'm Rich. Now don't forget, if you do like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe, click like, and make sure you share it around. Okay, here we are, part 3. How are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. So it's been a couple of months now. Oh no, one month, hasn't it?
1 month.
That's good.
We're making this a little tradition, man. I like it.
I know, it's good. And I've got heaps of other questions I want to ask you later on, but first of all, got a guest that wants to come in. Now, do you want to tell us a bit about this person?
Oh, this is Chris Waet, who I've met through our beautiful Van Halen world on Facebook and got to know and chat with about Van Halen and footage and all kinds of shit. Yeah, like it's cool, man. Like through this whole process, I've gotten to like meet so many people and like kind of like talk on this regular basis about all kinds of stuff. So it's cool, man. He's become a good friend.
Oh, excellent. Hey, there we are.
There he is. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Look at you guys all nicely lit. Me in this like dark, ominous corner.
Good to meet you, Chris.
Good to meet you too, man. Nice, nice wall of guitars there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so where's you from, Chris?
From Vancouver Island, Canada.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us for this.
Yeah, no problem.
Adam and I were talking, and we thought maybe we should hear from somebody else besides me all the time.
That's fair. That's fair. You got the cool stories though, so.
So you've seen some of the footage then, I take it?
I have. I've heard a lot of the audio, and I've seen a bit of the footage, and it's quite a treat for sure. You know, as a Van Halen fan, but particularly as a Ed freak, shall we say? It's it's unreal. I mean, I'm sure, you know, like I think as you've said, you know, just getting to see the boys playing without Dave or Sam around, and just kind of that dynamic, and hearing the little nuances without any vocals going on is just phenomenal.
Oh, exactly. I mean, just hearing those things, like you were saying, what Eddie's doing. And I mean, he changes it all the time. Like when you see the rehearsals, it's always different too. It's like he's just ad-libbing sometimes, making things up as he goes.
Yeah. I don't think he ever did anything the same way twice per se. He kind of, you know, lived on the cuff, and that's what the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Chris plays guitar as well, Adam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's got some skills.
You're kind.
Yeah, so you can really appreciate it as well. Like the you know, the close up that Andrew gets, really seeing the technique of what Eddie's doing, just amazing.
Oh, absolutely. It's been helpful trying to figure out some stuff, because obviously, you know, you try and pick away at the records with your ears, and there's only so much you can gather out of that. So yeah, being able to see up close and in high def like that, it makes a huge difference. So
thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew's awesome.
The set list, I noticed, is a little bit different than some of the other videos as well on this one, on the 24th.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that it seems like, you know, the certain days they were kind of working through certain albums more in depth than other days.
Yep.
And then also, you know, you get the sprinkle of the deep cuts throughout the rehearsals, which is really obviously like the stuff that us as diehard fans are all about. So that's right. Kind of the extra special treat for sure.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, no, it's really good. And I think that one also has got the a couple of Led Zeppelin covers in there where he's just jamming on it.
Yeah, 100%, and which is absolute gold to see. So it's a huge smile on my face for sure, and it's definitely, you know, you won't see it anywhere else. It's pretty rare stuff. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, Andrew's a great guy. you know, he's happy to answer questions, and he's been super awesome to talk with. And the footage I've seen has been amazing. And I think if anybody's on the fence about it, they should definitely pull the trigger, because it's, you know, like I said, it's super rare, as you know, and once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, especially to be a fly on the wall at 5150, where there's, you know, no real documented footage in the past. So
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
definitely. I highly recommend it. Like what you said.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I was
That's
like, Chris,
okay.
please jump on, only for me to be like, I gotta run.
No, it's
That's
good.
okay.
Thanks for jumping in and getting
Yeah,
experience on it too. It's really cool.
no worries. Yeah, hopefully, I hope people, you know, snap it up, because it is, to be a fly on the wall at 5150 is really rare, and the stuff that Andrew got is incredible, and you know, diehard fans would lose their minds if they saw it. So
Yeah, exactly.
That was my goal, man. I want people to lose their minds.
oh, my minds have been lost. Trust me.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Chris,
All
man.
right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's always nice to chat.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Have fun tonight. I'll talk to you soon.
Will do. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
All right, man. Later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris seems really happy with the footage, which is great.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. The guys when he first saw the footage, I always like it, man. Like I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I was like, yeah, it's cool when I hear people's reactions.
Yeah.
My expectation was like I knew people would like it. Hoped so. But I was like, yeah, I think people will probably be like, yeah, man, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And instead, like, some of the reactions were, holy shit, what did I just see? So yeah, for some, like, and Chris being a guitar player too, man, it's always cool, like, you guys, getting to kind of see the side of, hear and see this side that you never would have gotten is really fucking cool.
We're talking about guitar players. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Mark.
How you doing, Andrew? Nice to see you both.
Good to see you.
Thanks for letting me in on this. Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in and say how amazing the footage is. It's like you were just saying then. It's mind-blowing.
Thanks, man.
When you see it, it's like, oh my God, fly on the wall stuff. It's like, wow.
Thanks, man.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mark's the one, he helped me out with identifying some of the covers, the Led Zeppelin ones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So thanks, Mark.
No worries. That was cool hearing him do that. Just jamming on a bit of Led Zeppelin and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah. It was one of those things I caught when I was going through the footage.
Yeah.
I was going through it, and all of a sudden I was listening. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I noticed the last one, Andrew, the last one you just sent me from 2006. It's also got one of these from your book. Actually, just another promotion for the book. This one here. But you get a good view of this one in there.
Oh, yeah.
So do you know a bit more information about that? Because you do see it in the latest video footage.
What does it say?
Yeah, that's the one he's got up on the board, like do it, just try, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of went along with his work ethic, just to keep going and going. There is never failure. Continuing to practice and try and try, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those little elements in 5150. It's like, this random dry erase board on the corner with, this thought that I think Ed had the thought that Wolf wrote it on the board.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys speak on it, but what I think is kind of cool about the footage is getting to see, obviously, like, the soundboard there is amazing, and the guitars on the wall, of course, but just kind of the ruggedness to it. Some super fancy plush place, this is kind of a converted cabin in the middle of the woods. Eddie Van Halen doesn't have some fancy flat screen thing on the wall. He's got a fucking dry erase board. I'd love to hear, like, what else you thought of the footage. If there's anything like,
oh man, so much. Like even even just the sweetness of the father and son thing. You know what I mean? With Wolfie and between Wolfie and Edward, it's just like, it was just beautiful to watch. You know what I mean? Hey, Dad, You know,
Yeah.
that's just incredible seeing them working together like that. You know, and with Uncle Alex and stuff. You know, it's just amazing. It's just so cool.
Yeah, and in that collection too is Wolf's. You have it yet, Adam? But is Wolf's very first rehearsal in October of '06.
Wow.
And yeah, man, you kind of nailed it. It's cool when you're watching it, you know, because that footage is raw. It's not like it's been edited up.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything like that. So it's cool. Like, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to I'm not sitting here talking nice about my own work. Sorry,
No.
but it's kind of like what you touched on. It's cool to see, you know, like not only just their dynamic together when they're playing, but like if you're watching Ed, you'll see Ed look over at Wolf sometimes. And Wolf doesn't know he's looking at him. And Ed's just smiling.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think people thought that like '06 was kind of this rough time for Ed. And it was, you know, he hadn't gotten the haircut yet and gotten a nice suntan. But, you know, but there's still all that happiness and joy and hard work in that footage. It's nothing bad. So
yeah.
Like even like the
it's
later
wonderful.
time, you just sent me. There's a really good shot where like Eddie just grabs Wolf, just grabs his face and gives him a big kiss. So
yeah, man. Ed was a kisser.
yeah.
Now, if he loved you, you'd get a kiss.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a very loving guy.
Yeah,
and I think, you know, in some of that footage, as you watch other days and stuff, like there's a moment where they're done, and Ed says something like, "This kid is over here kicking my ass." You know, and there's other moments where like, you know, Wolf is like looking at the set list. He's like, "We played that. We played that. We played that. We played that. Are we done?" Like a teenager stuck at work.
yeah, that's right.
It's
amazing to see how much hard work they put in. You know, just getting it back together again like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool when you see that footage too. It's like, you know, Ed doesn't really hover over Wolf and teach him things or grab his hands and help him. Like nothing. He just kind of lets Wolf learn.
Yeah. Because you would have thought maybe it might have been more like that, but yeah, no, not really. It's wild.
Yeah. You can
the kid's
learn
got good genes.
There is something in that bloodline, man. There is something in that bloodline.
He's proven that, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to be okay.
Yeah, he was an amazing 15-year-old, and now he's an amazing, what is he now, 31?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Man, we're so fortunate we were able to see them play, you know, one last time. It was incredible. When they came out here and did one show in Sydney, I still can't believe they did that. And we were lucky to be able to witness it, weren't we, Ed?
Yeah, up the front.
Yeah. With Wolfie doing his thing, and it was flawless. It was incredible.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we weren't fortunate enough to be in the studio like Andrew, but you know.
No, I know. That's the closest we could get, unfortunately. But we're lucky we got that close.
Well, you guys beat me in a way. Because I went to the Friends and Family show in '07.
Cool.
That was like a couple of hundred people, but I've never actually been to a Van Halen concert.
Oh wow!
I've actually never been to the arena and seen the show, and none of that. I never got to see that. I got invited to a Sammy show, so I got to go see Sammy.
Cool, that's awesome.
But that was about as close. But yeah, man. So it's like I definitely had the special experience of being in the studio, but man, I miss the fan experience of being on the floor and like watching it. So,
and that was pretty special too. You know, like it was pretty special for us being there and seeing that. But the fact that they even came out to Australia to do that one show, it's still like I scratch my head as to why. They must have offered them a decent amount of money to come out for one show in Sydney.
Man, I can tell you that I'm sure they were paid a lot of money. You know, Van Halen didn't.
But they must have wanted to. Yeah, they must have wanted to.
They wanted, like, knowing Ed, and I think Dave in this sense too, but specifically knowing Ed, you know, if it was like they kind of know this is the last tour, they don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ed's. You know, I think you kind of get it in the book, like when he went to the store and stopped for this fan, like Ed just always truly appreciated the fans, and like, it's like, I don't know if you read the book, but there was this story of, we're at the store and this guy stops him in the parking lot, and it was obviously this, really hardcore fan, and Ed sat there and listened to him and took all the adoration and compliments, and we're driving back up to the house, and I said to Eddie, I said, God, man, I go, that was really cool of you to like stop and really talk to that guy like that, man, like have a conversation. And you gave him a hug and thanked him. And Ed just goes, you know why I did that, Andrew? And I said, why, Ed? The gates to the property are opening up, and he points at the house, and he goes, because guys like that bought this. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah. Like, I think every time he drove through those gates, like, it's obviously his hard work and his talent, but he always recognized, he's not living on that hill if it's not for the fans. And, I've met a lot of bands who will never even be in the same breath or mention of Van Halen, who have huge egos. Like, you guys have huge egos? You know who's humble and kind? Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you got to see stuff and check it out, man.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Well, actually, because when I got the book originally, Andrew, remember I got 2 copies, and the other one was for Mark for his birthday. So, as well.
Oh, right on.
I sure have. Yeah, it's amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. Killer.
Thanks, man. Just trying to share the experience with people, man. It's I sat on this stuff for 16 years, and I always felt like an asshole. I'm like, I can't believe I'm not doing anything with this, but hopefully I'm doing it the right way and keeping it to the fans.
Yeah. Well, it's great that we've got that to at least, look over, read your book, see some video, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing left anymore, Ed's not with us anymore, so that's all we've got. So that's really cool that you're doing that.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And that you did the book. Because for the fans, thanks, it's like, what else have we got to look forward to, and sadly, unless they bring something out of the vault, unless they release more stuff out of the vault down the line. But
it's
who knows?
Van Halen, man. You never know.
You never know.
The most unpredictable band in history.
Yeah. Like you were saying before, I know Adam's probably mentioned this before, but you were saying about Ed's humbleness. We had the very fortunate experience of being able to meet them when they came out with Sharon in '98. They did a in-store record store in-store appearance, and we were able to go. We bought a copy of the album for whoever it was, and we got the pass to get in, and we got to meet them all, for 20 seconds, But he was so lovely. They were all so lovely, and Edward especially, was so, you could tell the humility and how humble he was.
Yeah,
because he let you have it. Oh man, I've been such a fan for so long, and he was just so lovely. It was really special to meet him, even for 30 seconds. It was amazing.
No, that's cool. You got that experience, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to witness it a lot, but
I
continually I try to tell people all the time how kind and humble he was, and how much respect he had for everybody. He was, I wish 90% of my friends were as humble and cool as Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, and you hear it from his buddies, from his peers as well. Steve Lukather and anyone pretty much that met him like that, that jam with him or had interaction with him, had nothing but praise for him too, which is incredible.
Yeah,
which is
all
so
deserved, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
Now the other thing I was going to ask Andrew, because I noticed on the in your book, so it's funny. So I hadn't really gone through your book since I first got it. So after seeing the video footage and now reading the book, it's like, oh well, I remember that from the video. And this one here, the set list, that's like maybe a later one, because when they're first rehearsing the first parts, like October 2006 to the start of 2007, it's a little bit different in this set list.
Yeah, well, you know what I can do for you is I can go to that photo and see the date that photo was shot.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that was the set list for that day, because most of the time the set list was on a piece of paper that sat on the board. But I'll go back. I'll dig up some photos and see what the date was on that.
Yeah, that'd be great, because there's a few songs here that I haven't seen on the rehearsals yet, like Mean Street, Pretty Woman, Cradle Will Rock. I'll Wait, I think. So yeah, so it'd be cool to check that out.
Yeah. Don't get too excited. It could be that, wrote that set list on a dry erase board, and Ed goes, "Fuck that! Let's make another one." And then it just got thrown in a corner and never got erased and sat there.
Yeah.
You never know.
At least they were on the board. At least they were a thought anyway, even if they didn't do them. You know.
It's still a cool aesthetic to see, a cool picture of like that set list, and and yet again, just on a dry erase board. Like, the set lists, even the set lists every day were never like typed on a computer and printed out. They were like written in Sharpie.
Handwritten.
Wolfgang would come up with the set list. He made that.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like this teenager's handwriting with a Sharpie. And like some set lists, it's like, we know this one, yet.
Actually, there's a really good video that in the latest one you sent me from October 21st, 2006, because you see at the start of it, Wolfie's got his notepad. I don't want to give it all away, but writing down the songs to learn or that we know. And you see him, he goes into the studio to give to Uncle Al. So, hey, this is what I'm going to play today,
Yeah. He kept I think there's a picture of it in the book, right? Of the notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture of it, like, and yet again, it's like this teenager's notebook. It's like the hand-drawn VH logo.
I think that's going to show people, especially people that kind of used to knock Wolfie and say, why didn't they do it with Michael Anthony? That sort of thing. And I've heard Eddie say that if it wasn't for Wolfie, it would never have happened. You know what I mean? That's going to prove it to people. But seeing him, doing so much and being so involved and pushing them along, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfie brought this whole new energy, happiness to the place, and he was such this like kind of genius right from the start. These rehearsals, like you watch those rehearsals, it all goes pretty smoothly. Like he's not messing up. Ed's not getting mad at him. Everybody's just like, holy shit, this kid just learned basically the Van Halen catalog like over the summer. Definitely brought a different energy in there, man. It was definitely like a happy, because I was there in 2004, and it was definitely a happier place. And there's the people who are like, oh, well, he only got in the band because he's Eddie's kid. I always tell him that is bullshit. That's bullshit. He got the chance. He got the chance because he was Eddie's kid. But if that kid wasn't up to par, he would not have been in the band.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, like this is also in the larger collection. It shows you that there is no reunion without Wolfgang because it was his idea.
That's right.
There's the infamous, it's in that larger collection, the Wolfgang phone call where, he leaves this message, my name is Wolfgang Van Halen. I'm the new bass player in Van Halen. And invites Dave to come jam. And walks back in and tells his dad he left a message. And his dad, Ed's sitting there, and sitting in my chair that still lives there, sitting in my chair, and he goes, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe the greatest rock band in history reunites. Maybe not. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I wrote it in the book, but it's like, if you're happy that Van Halen reunited, I think I gave Matt Bruck credit too, for sure. But yes, that was Wolfgang's idea. But for those that don't know Matt Bruck behind the scenes, like Matt Bruck is one hell of a guy, man. Like,
And also thinking about when Wolf, when the very first started, like you see in the interviews, in the videos, like in 2006, how, Eddie, like everyone knows, he didn't look that well, especially in the earlier ones. He said, didn't look well at all. But then you go 1 year later, where he's got the haircut and he's looking completely different. And I mean, would you really put that down to, Wolfgang, because he was in the band and he really cleaned up because of that, you think?
I mean, I never want to say like this is why Ed did something. Like I've had friends ask me, they're like, "Hey man, on this day ball," the question being like, "What was Ed thinking?" I'm like, I can never tell you what Eddie Van Halen is thinking, man. Well, I will say this as like I'm 8 years sober, so
congrats, man.
Thanks, man. When I got clean, I didn't get clean necessarily like for myself, so I could get my job back or get a girlfriend back or anything like that. I got clean. I didn't put my family through that shit anymore.
Mm.
So I did it for my family. Like, you can't probably see, but like I have my family's initials tattooed up my arm. And I got that on my 1 year. I got that on my 1 year because I put it on there so that if I ever did reach for a drink, I would have to face those people because they're right in front of me.
Mm.
So from
Yeah.
somebody who got sober and like what drove me to get sober, family, and knowing Ed and how much he loved his kid, as well as his brother, and definitely as well as Matt Bruck, or I can't speak for Valerie, but I imagine for Valerie as well. Like, Ed was this selfless guy and this really kind guy. So I can't imagine he got clean because he wanted to stay famous or keep making money. Things like that don't strike me as Eddie. Eddie strikes me as like, I got clean so that, you know, I don't put people through shit anymore because I want to go do this awesome thing with my kid. You know, Janie was, you know, definitely in the picture at that point. I'm sure she had a, you know, that was a driving force. She was an awesome lady. He loved her. So, but yeah, sorry, long-winded answer to that question. Yeah, man, I would definitely say that the happiness that Wolfgang brought to that place had something to do with that as well.
Because I think that really comes across on the videos as well. Like the way you've captured it, and you see that bond between him and Wolf, and it's like, I mean, it doesn't say it, but you can just feel it, like, oh, I need to get my stuff together because this is all happening. It's sounding great. It feels good. You know, he's happy.
Yeah, I mean, like with me, you know, I have a niece and a nephew who, luckily for me, were really young when I was drinking, so they didn't really see that. I also didn't want them to grow up, so I'd imagine that, you know, usually anybody who gets clean, whether it's Ed or myself or anybody else, like, you know, I've met a lot of people who do it for their own selfish needs, and that's fine too, whatever the fuck gets you clean. But, you know, a lot of us do it for others, not for ourselves. And Ed strikes me as that kind of guy.
Yeah. But I think that's just another important thing about this video footage that you captured. Like, to me, that really comes across through your videos. Yeah, just seeing that whole transition, it's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, obviously, I can't, you know, like 06, you know, like October, November, like those months, you do see him drinking wine. I can't blur out the wine. I mean, but I think it's just a reality. I think everybody, not spilling any secrets, you know, like people knew that Ed drank wine, but you'll notice that when he's in the studio, he's taking some pulls off the wine, but he is playing like a madman. He's being an extremely kind and loving person. He's being an awesome bandmate, awesome brother, awesome dad. If it were anything less than that, I would have never anybody that footage. You know, and there were some bad days here and there, but those bad days will never see the light of day. You know, but people have asked me about the 04 footage. I was only there for like 10 days or something, but I do have all that footage from 04. It's not a good time. The 04 footage, the It's About Time video that's out there, but other than that, man, the 04 footage is long gone. You know, so yeah, I
understand.
I kept it all. Yeah, so you know, when I put the collection together, I chose like the best of the best days. You know, some of the more interesting days based on like, you know, the vibe that day. Like, you know, Adam, you've seen multiple days. There's some days where like it seems like he's playing these songs just a little fucking harder than usual, or like, you know. But no, all shown in good light. But yeah, dude, you do get to see that transition, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and especially if you know the dates, you're looking at like November, you know, where he's still got the long hair and you still maybe see a bottle of wine, but then you see in January and it's gone. And, you know, yet again, and I'll talking on this topic, but like as somebody who got clean, I mean, holy shit, man, leave it to Eddie Van Halen to take, you know, 30 days and boom.
Oh, yeah.
Like looking good and healthy. Only took him 30 days. Jesus, man. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
To keep it going for the rest of his life. Like that's no small feat, man.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, that same drive that he had in music and practice, like that work ethic, man. Like I've talked about this before, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling. You know, I can't play guitar. These hands don't play a guitar. It's just not going to happen for me. But what I took from Eddie was that work ethic, just like in my trade and directing or writing. But like that same thing in sobriety, man. Eddie was in my head when I went and got clean. You know,
That's awesome.
Sometimes I would just, you know, kind of hear like, what would Eddie tell me? And it was never anything too deep or long-winded. It was like, what would Eddie tell me right now? Eddie would tell me, get your fucking shit together already. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Fortunately for the guys that I try to work with, they get that bluntness from me. So, fellas, if you don't like the way I help you get clean, then blame it on Eddie Van Halen being very direct and a hard worker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to recap, no, there's no footage of him sloppy drunk.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't need to see that.
Exactly.
No, no. I mean, I would never do that to anybody, especially Eddie. Like, you know. Plus, like, we've all had our demons. Like, you know,
Sure.
everybody's got a little something. You know, some of us, like myself, took it to an extreme. But you know, from my stories to the photos to the footage, one, my respect for Eddie is off the charts. So none of that would ever happen. But I also put myself like in that place. Like, I'm sober 8.5 years. So basically, if you knew me in 2014, I was a wreck. And I would hate for anybody to even have a single photo of me from 2014. So, you know, his genius aside, from one sober guy to another sober guy, like everything, it's all respect.
Yeah. Just I'm just blown away by chatting with you and hearing these stories. You know, seeing them come to light on some of those videos that you showed me, Adam, and that's just incredible. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool fly on the wall stuff, you know, and
Cool,
great great stories. It would have been amazing to be a part of. To be there in on, you know, inner sanctum.
It was a blessing.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
No worries. Thanks, Mark.
No worries.
I'll catch up with you real soon.
Cheers.
No worries.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Now, just quickly, I just wanted to talk to you about the new one that you sent me. I know we spoke a little bit at the October 21st. Now, that one there, like the first, I think, probably 20 minutes of that, just shows Eddie like jamming, and him and Alex. I think Wolfgang is like getting his stuff ready, writing down the set list, and there's some really amazing footage on that. It's so anyone wanting to see that part.
The early, that's the earlier stuff. I mean, I think the very first rehearsal was like, I want to say October 6th.
Okay.
So yeah, the early stuff is cool, man. Eddie still, Eddie was still a little gritty, like we talked about.
Yeah.
It was a good gritty.
Yeah.
2004 gritty. Good gritty.
Well, there was a lot of footage of this one where he's actually talking to you as well on this this rehearsal, and actually you even get to see you clean the camera, and then you see your face there.
Oh yeah. Oh, so it's proof it's me.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm debunking all the rumors. Yeah, man. At first he was more talkative to the camera and stuff like that at first. I think like once the reunion was set, like, you know, like late November, and then you know, we took this break in this like last half of December. It was that kind of like, okay, so now we're not just here to jam and hang out and have fun. Like now we're preparing to go tour the world. but he was always friendly to the camera. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think you see like some of those angles, you know, if you kind of look, like, you'll understand, like, I'm laying on the floor at his feet to get this certain angle. And not once was he ever like, move or kick me or get out of the way. Like, gave me free reign to hold the camera above his head and, you know,
Yeah.
sit on the floor and hold the camera like this. You know, like, the camera's on a bit of a rig, you know. This is before iPhones.
Yeah.
These are a real camera with a real Leica lens. Yeah.
Yeah. But even like at the start, I think because Alex was in the studio. I think it's the only time, the one I've seen anyway, where Alex is in the studio talking to the other guys, and you see him talk to you like, yeah, what's going on here? And Ed's like, hey, I told him to film everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think.
Why are you doing this? I told him to film everything. No. When Ed, we're dumb musicians and we're here to make some music. And where's the next tattoo coming from? Let me roll my sleeve here.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think Alex was really prepped on there's going to be a dude here with a camera all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation. Like, after the first time Al saw me, I would love to be a fly on the wall when he goes up to Ed and is like, what the hell is this guy doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, if Alex is like, what the hell is this camera doing here? And Ed's like, I want people to see how hard we work.
Yep.
Al's response would probably be like, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, see you later. And speed off in the Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the start of that one. And it's just incredible, the footage on that. And then they finally get into the set list and start jamming on the things. And I think there's another part where you see Eddie tuning up Wolfgang's bass and he's like trying to tune it, and then he's like, no, you just do it. And Wolfgang's, let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're kind of seeing some stuff like, you know, in those October stuff, or maybe Ed was kind of hovering over at Wolf a little more, and
Yeah.
you know, kind of like paying attention a little more. But it didn't take long for Ed to be like, this kid's got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I think there's one where I think there's like the end of one song where Ed goes, this kid's over here kicking my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's one little thing in here, which, again, I don't want to give too much away, but they start doing Hot for Teacher, and then Wolfgang actually does the intro on the bass. Here's a little sneak of Hot for Teacher.
Yeah. It was funny to watch Wolf like noodle around.
Yeah. But even like with the tuning, I noticed like where Wolfgang, you know, he's tuning, because I know, I think it's Unchained where they tune down, so he had to tune back up, and then you know, Eddie would be there playing away, and you know, I think it's the only time I've heard someone tell Eddie to shut up. It's like, hey, Dad, shut up! You know, I'm trying to tune like a bass.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just sometimes you forget that kid is 15 when you watch the footage.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's so dialed in, man. He's so dialed in. He doesn't seem to ask for help on anything.
Ah.
He's like, yeah, I'm the new bass player in Van Halen. I got this. You guys just keep doing what you've been doing for 30 years. I got it.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, I was 15 working at Starbucks and confused as fuck.
Yeah, it's incredible. And apparently, like I don't know if you were there for it, but like Wolfgang pretty much just taught himself all those parts. Like he didn't go to his dad and say, "Hey, teach me this." He just figured it out himself. Is that right?
I never once saw him ask his dad. Ever. There's a couple of little moments throughout rehearsals where like Ed will lean in, listen to something he's playing.
Yeah.
I've only seen him like minute little moments, or maybe he's dropped a little one-liner on Wolf or something. But yeah, I mean, you'll see like, you know, sometimes Ed's talking to somebody and he's like, yeah, I'm not teaching him anything. He just figured this out.
Yeah.
They decided he wanted to do this, picked it up. Like, yeah, there's something in the blood, man. I don't know what happened in that family from their dad to Ed and Wolf.
That's right.
And Al. Like, something in the genes, man, where it's like, you guys aren't just musicians. You're like the masters of your craft.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think for anybody at any age to step into that role that he stepped into, to be able to do it like he did, where it's like, oh no, I'll just teach myself everything and I'll show up to rehearsals and I'll bang out these 14, 15 song set lists and then go home and do my math homework. You know, I think, you think you could probably pull a big time bass player from, you know, any band, and they might have one hell of a time figuring all this out. But I think, you know, we're seeing it now, man, with his music, the way he's playing every instrument.
Oh yeah.
He's a genius. Like,
yeah,
I might have to write another book where it's like the 212 Days and Nights with the genius of Wolfgang Van Halen.
yeah. Oh, exactly.
Matter of fact, Wolfgang, if you're watching, maybe we need to reunite, man.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Hey, I already know the ins and outs of 5150. I'm good up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I was going to ask you, which I haven't asked you ever before, so I noticed in this rehearsal as well, at the start of it, they do have the microphones there on the mic stands, and then like you hear them talking about, oh, should we sing, should we not? But they don't. They just don't use the microphones. But is there any rehearsals where Wolfgang and Eddie actually singing as well, or is it just playing?
Yeah, when we got into the big room,
yeah,
like a lot of the rehearsal footage is Ed and Wolf like standing at the soundboard, and you've got Bill Molina, the engineer, kind of doing his thing in the background.
Yep.
Then Al is in this really big room where the drums are. So eventually, in like January, February, they kind of moved into that big room. That big room to film in was a beast because it was so loud.
Yeah.
Like, so fucking loud that the camera can only do so much with that audio. Like, luckily, Eruption was great in that room. The one time he played it, that's the room I'm talking about.
Yep.
But most of the rehearsals in there are so loud. I've been meaning to dig through some of it because I could probably clean up some of that audio. But as far as the mic stands, I think maybe I saw them once.
Okay.
Doing some vocals, but
yeah. So when they moved to the big room, do you know, did they have the mics as well singing, or was it again just music?
They had the mics, and they did it a couple of times.
Okay.
I think it was. I mean, for me, from my experience, it was more for Wolf.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because he's about to go on this tour, so he's got to get used to the mic stand right here. He's got to get used to, like, you know, when he's supposed to sing, and do his thing. But there was never any real focus on it. There was never any focus on his, you know, secondary vocals. Like, nobody ever talked about singing. And which is interesting because you're filling the shoes of a guy who does great backup vocals.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
But there was just never any discussion of it. And from what I saw, it was yet again the magic of Wolfgang Van Halen probably being like, no, I've got it. Vocals, which, you know, so again, let's call it what it is. There's no comparison to Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's crazy. But yet again, filling some big shoes and did it.
Oh, he did. For sure.
Yeah, and I think he's proven to us in the last 2 years he can sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you want to talk about any of what people get in the packages with pricing or anything, or just?
No, I mean, we can break it down here real quick. Nice to kind of get that shit out of the way, like money wise.
Yeah.
Because I know that people write me, and basically I have this like really simple 1-page PDF that I wrote up. Like, I didn't do in typical Eddie Van Halen style, like nothing fancy, just the nuts and the bolts, and let's get to it. I did was, I mean, we're calling it the limited 5150 collection because it is limited. I wanted to keep it directly to like our world here, you know, like people who tune into your show, people in, you know, the larger Van Halen fan groups that I've gotten to know. So because of its rarity, and I just want to throw this out there, if I can get this in the hands of people for $50, I would. Unfortunately, I am a starving artist, despite what people might think. And to keep it limited, you got to put a price tag on it. So yes, there's a smaller package, which is still a good package. Still like a full rehearsal and some cut together, these pieces I cut together for Hot for Teacher, On Fire, Atomic Punk. I think that one comes with Hot for Teacher.
Yep.
That one's edited together of like multiple rehearsal days, so you get to see them on all these different days. The full rehearsal, audio from the soundboard. So it's $250, which I recognize is not cheap. But, again, it's like, it's the rarity of it. There has to be some kind of value put on it. So none of this is coming from greed or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yes, then there's the larger package, which is $1,500. And it's so funny because like in the email I write to people, I immediately point this out. Like, I recognize that's a lot of money. I'm not some asshole who's like, yeah, $1,500. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
I recognize that's a chunk of change for 99% of us. So that's why I loaded that one the fuck up. Like, that one is like 5 days of rehearsals, all kinds of audio, 11 by 14 glossy prints that you can pick from the website where the prints are. Or if you have the book, pick any photo from the book you want. You also get a copy of the book. And you get, what else is in there, man? I'm spacing. The Gene Simmons demos.
Oh, yeah.
I know that like there's the 0 demos out there. I've been told these are slightly different. But the joy of these demos that come in that big package is, one, they're about as high res as it gets. This is not some compressed MP3 bullshit off of YouTube. This is a huge AIF file. So for those who don't know audio, like AIF is like uncompressed, beautiful file. And then there's just, the magical story of how did I get those Gene Simmons demos? Well, Gene Simmons sent them to me at 5150. So it's like, with those demos, it's like, oh, this is where these demos came from as well. So yeah, man, the demos, multiple days of rehearsals, photos, the book, the audio. Yeah, I just felt like if I'm going to price it at $1,500, I want to give people obviously their money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're definitely getting money well worth the $1,500. It's the things involved in this is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm not trying to sound like a salesman, but $1,500. I mean, if Van Halen were with us today and on tour, and you wanted to go to that show and get the good floor seats, you're still not going to get as close to Eddie as like my camera is at 5150 because that's about 3 feet. But you buy those floor seats, you pay for parking, you buy some drinks. Like, God, man, that one evening is $1,000.
Yeah, that's right.
And well worth it because you're standing there watching the greatest who ever lived stand above you, kind of like the god that he is.
Yeah.
But with this stuff, man, it is special and it's rare and it is intimate. And unlike a concert, you can go visit this anytime you want, man. Just go hit play. So yeah, I'm not trying to be like a salesman, but I recognize $1,500 is a lot, but also for something this rare and this limited, and it's cool, man, because really it's for that bigger package. I think there's like 4 left.
Oh,
so
wow.
When it's all said and done, we're this like little small group of 25 people. And like once that's sold out, I would love if everybody was cool with it, kind of introduce everybody to each other in this world of 25 people.
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear those discussions of like what one person picked up and what another person saw. Like your eye and ear are amazing.
That's a great idea.
But yeah, like the way we're talking to these two guys, like it's cool to hear like everybody's different takes and what they see. So
yeah, that's right.
Anyway, man, sorry, I'm rambling.
No, that's good.
I like to think that I set it up right. I hope people don't think I'm some asshole for pricing it at that much. My rent is very expensive.
Now, like I said, it's definitely worth it. The amount of things you get in it. I mean, just even the audio things are incredible. It's like the old days of the bootlegs. The you spend like $50, $100 just on one little rehearsal, or not a rehearsal,
Yeah.
a live gig, but the quality of these rehearsals that you've got, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, again, like those rehearsals are recorded straight to the 5150 board. That's none of my doing.
Yeah.
Like that's all Ed's mind behind like how it sounds and how it's being recorded. And then the engineer who was doing it, this guy named Bill Molina. Bill Molina in the world of engineers is a genius. Like I met Bill Molina through Glenn Ballard, the record producer, and Bill's like Glenn Ballard's go-to. You know, he was Eddie Van Halen's go-to. So this man is, so yeah, that stuff on the board is like professionally mixed as it's going along. And like I was saying, audio, those are also uncompressed files. Like, folder of AIF files like that is not small.
Right.
On a side note, I do the AIF files for those that can play AIF. I mean, everybody can play an AIF file, but some people aren't, you know, savvy and this and that. So I also made them all MP3s as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't worry about converting. You don't have to. You'll have the AIFs.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to them that way, but you know, I also did an identical folder of MP3s so that nobody has to worry about converting something or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we pretty much covered that. So we've got the other two videos if people are interested in checking out part 1 and part 2. Yeah, we go in more detail about some of the other things involved in the other videos, so make sure you check them out.
Yeah. Oh, I'll throw this out there too. Because this has happened a couple of times. And again, this is some of that sales bullshit that I hate talking like. But a couple of people bought the smaller package, the 250, and they came back and they're like, "Holy shit, man! Like, I actually want the rest of this." So like, if you were to buy the 250 and then you decided you want the 15, I don't make you spend another 15.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take your 250, apply it to that 15, so you're only spending another 1250. Like,
okay, that's good. Yeah.
Some people have asked that. It's like, no, dude, I'm not going to charge you twice, like, or you know, getting greedy with it. That would be horrible of me. So, you know, just throwing that out there.
No, I think you're definitely on it the right way, which is good.
Thanks, man. I like hearing that, like, this sense of comfort. Like, okay, so I'm not an asshole, right?
No.
Not a greedy fucking prick.
No, I never care what people say. You're all right.
So far, everybody's been really cool.
That's good. Yeah, thanks again for joining for the part 3.
Yeah, is it 3 or 4? 3.
Well, this is part 3 of this series. I mean, we've done a couple of interviews before that, but this is this.
You know what we got to do, man? I just have to fly down under.
I know.
we just have to hang out in a room and have like a viewing party and put it up on the flat screen. And
oh yeah,
you know,
let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, cool, man. I mean, I always love chatting with you, man, and like I love chatting with you, especially you know because you have that love and that passion for the music and for Eddie. But you know, I think it's nice because it helps people. I think we're helping a lot of people realize, like, one, this footage is real and really does exist.
Yeah.
And people seem to love it, and you know, not just some dude hiding out in a cave, you know, talking footage on the internet. You know,
that's right.
Yeah, man, and it's cool to like bring people on like Chris and your buddy, like, you know, we should definitely rally some more people next time. I hear that he watches some of the interviews I do.
Okay.
Let's see if we can tease him. But for the computer geeks out there, do you know who Steve Wozniak is?
Yes.
Okay. So Woz is the co-founder of Apple. But when I was filling the orders out at home, I was like, there's no fucking way it's that Steve Wozniak. But I saw like the email and it had like a Pacific Northwest kind of address. And I was like, it kind of seems like it would be him. So I sent the book. And then I waited a couple of weeks. And I was like, should I write him? And then one day I was like, fuck it, I'm going to write him.
Yeah.
So I just wrote him, and I was like, "Dear Mr. Wozniak, my name is Andrew Bennett, and I wrote the book." And I said, I was just curious. I would love to know what you thought of it. And I was like, if you want to, give me a call. And I left my phone number. The second I hit send, I was like, "There's no way this dude is gonna call me. No fucking way this guy calls me." Sure as shit, man. Like the next day,
Wow.
call. Here's, "Hi, are you Andrew Bennett?" He goes, "I was for you." Gets on the phone. "Andrew, I loved your book, man. And I really enjoyed the way you did it." He's like, "I don't know if you know this, but I had some ties with Van Halen." I was like, "Yeah, no shit, man." Yes, you paid them a lot of money. Super cool, and he really liked the way I put the book together.
Yeah.
We were wrapping up the phone call, and I told him, I go, "Look, Mr. Wozniak," and he's like, "Call me Woz." I'm like, "I can't really do that, but Mr. Wozniak." I said, "There's no way I'm ever going to speak to you again, probably. So can I ask you one question?" Said, "Yeah, what's that?" We thought it had to do with like the history of Apple or maybe something about jobs. Who knows? But my question was this. I have a 2017 MacBook Pro that has an overheating issue, and it was recalled. But Apple never told me about the recall. So now I'm stuck with this. I said, "Is there anything you can do about that?" He said, "I have nothing to do with Apple anymore." He said, "As a matter of fact, when a new phone comes out, I wait in line with everybody else."
Oh, really?
And in my head, I thought, "Dude is so full of shit. There's no way this man is waiting in line for something that he invented." Sure enough, he really does. He's like this super cool, down to earth guy. And, he only changed the world. But, when I wrote him to tell him about it, and when he wrote back, he said, "By the way, I watched your interviews. I love the MacBook Pro story."
Oh, really?
So there's a chance he tunes in.
Yeah.
He's tuning in. Woz, want to come on?
That's it. Come on.
Man, I want to hear what genius of Steve Wozniak has to say.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
I would also like a new MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Part of the reason we had to by the way, Woz, this is why we had to get off of Zoom on my laptop and now do it on my phone. Laptop can't even handle a Zoom call.
Oh, no. Yeah, they got proof.
Yeah. You know what? I'll take a 2020 refurbed version. How's that? I'll meet you in the middle, Woz. No, it's jokes. But if Wozniak is watching, that would be the ultimate interview.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Man, if Wozniak pops up, you and I will do this again on Thursday. I am passing up hearing Steve Wozniak talk about his Van Halen footage.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. And explaining to me why Apple never told me about my recall. But
yeah, that's right.
Well, cool, man.
All right.
It's always good to hang out with you, dude. I wish you lived here.
Yeah, I know. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
One of us has got to travel at some point. You have the cooler room. I should come down there. You have the cooler room.
That's it.
I just have this behind me. All right, brother.
All right. See you.
Later.